What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Edelman, shooting from my home office here for the first of probably several weeks worth of home recordings, lessons, and things for you to follow along at home as best you can. So I have a couple of things that I'm going to talk about this week. Most weeks are going to look pretty similar. The first thing that I want to say is that I just want you to follow along as best you can. So if you have a computer at home that you can follow along with, that's great. If you don't, then just follow along with the videos, watch them, take notes, whatever you need to do to glean something from it. We're just doing the best that we can with the resources that we have right now. And yeah, so because this is on such short notice, the first week here is just going to be some videos, not that I've made, but then some other resources on YouTube that you can follow along with, as well as getting access to some things from the asset store and stuff like that. Also, just a forewarning here, if you hear any pop squeaks and cries, that's my 5-week-old daughter. Just working as best I can from home, so you just gotta roll with it just like I am. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so I just want to do a quick review of some stuff that we have covered before. So for the next several weeks of stuff, you are probably going to want to have first-person movement in Unity. So remember, you can just look for Bracky's 3D character controller. Come and find this video of his first-person movement and configure that if you haven't already, just so you have a way of getting around. Now, the next video that I want you to follow along with as best you can is this video right here. It's called Raycasting Unity Official Tutorials. It's actually pretty old, so this is from 2013, but the core concepts are the same. This is only 4 minutes long, so this is a brief overview of sort of what raycasts are. And raycasts, just sort of a SparkNotes version, raycasts are basically ways of drawing lines like a laser or something from one point in a certain direction, and then it can sort of simulate a collision. So you can have it, do sort of like an instantaneous check for collision in a certain direction. It's really handy for things like shooting and stuff like that. Another good use for it is things like enemies, enemy movement, enemy looking around, that sort of thing. And so that is where we're going to get into the next video. The next video that I want you to take a look at is this one right here, which is called Introduction to Game Development, Episode 18, Raycasting. Now, this is a part of a series by this creator called Sebastian Log, and he does some really amazing deep dives into concepts and things like that. But this is a great overview, a great way of diving into raycasting and all the different applications for it. There really are a ton of different applications for raycasting, and he hits on a lot of them here. So what I want you to focus on, if you're able to follow along with these on your home computer, what I want you to focus on is having things like an enemy that is able to see or not see the player. Now, I believe that in here he does have an example of an enemy, being able to see a player. Yeah, right here. So this is the player, and the enemy is trying to look and see the player. This is a great way to get a first attempt at something like a sneak game or something like that. So really cool mechanic there that you can use, as well as shooting and stuff like that. He goes into that. So follow along with this video as best you can, taking notes or creating a video if you can, or a Unity project if you can, because it's a really amazing resource. The next video I want you to take a look at is this one right here called the NavMesh Agent by Unity Official Tutorials. This is the same sort of thing as before, where it's an overview of how NavMesh agents work. And basically what NavMesh agents are is they're a way of intelligently navigating around meshes, that is, three-dimensional objects in a scene. So what this video does is it shows you sort of a way of, how these things work. And basically nav meshes, you bake this mesh as the blue is navigable areas and the gray is blocked areas. And then it will basically find a path of least resistance from point A to point B, which is really, really cool. This is a 4-minute video for that. Another video that I want you to follow along with this is the Brackeys NavMesh tutorial. So this one is similar, but this video goes a little bit more in depth on how to use it. And what I want you to focus on at the end of this week is how to put these things together. So when we look at raycasting, we look at NavMesh, there's a way to sort of put these things together where, if the enemy is close enough to the player, if the enemy is able to do a raycast to be able to see the player, then they use the NavMesh to get to them. And that's sort of putting the whole package together in sort of an intelligent way. And sort of putting all those things together, you can use this this vector3.angle to make a slightly more complex form of movement if you want to. And this will basically, if you figure out how to code it, you can make it so that the enemy will see just like a cone in front of them. You can get the angle between the vector that the enemy is looking forward, as well as the vector from the enemy to the player, and sort of get a field of vision, which is another cool application. So what I want you to do this week is follow along with these videos. The links will be in the description, and to at least do a thought experiment of how you think you would be able to use the NavMesh, as well as raycasting and potentially the vector3.angle to get a field of vision in front of an enemy. And if you can, I want you to try to put all those things together into a Unity project. So if you do follow along with these and you end up creating a Unity project, what I want you to do is create a GitHub repo for that, and then you can shoot me an email with a link to the GitHub repo so I can take a look at it. I really want to see the stuff that you all are making. So shoot me an email with that. At my KSD account, that's matthew.adelman@ksd.org. Send me an email and I'll check it out. I really miss being able to see all you. I was only able to see you for a week after my daughter was born, and then all this craziness happened. So I really want to see your work. Show me what you got. A couple other things. Every week I'll be checking in at the start of the week. I'll post a video like this. Hopefully next week I'll have a little bit more meat to my video where I'll go over some of the topics that we talked about this week, potentially some of the solutions, so you can check that out if you want to. I'll also be doing a quarantine beard update. So you can see right now I am looking pretty rough, kind of like a teacher who hasn't had students to teach for 2 weeks. We'll do a quarantine beard update. And yeah, so shoot me any questions that you have. I'll try to answer them as best I can. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.